Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Naga in Charlie State.
Our headlines today. Good morning, it's Thursday the 7th of May. Our top story is the UK's coronavirus lockdown will be reviewed by the government with signs that some restrictions could be eased from Monday.
The government's stay-at-home message is expected to be dropped in order to kickstart some sections of the economy, but most of the current lockdown measures are due to remain in place.
The UK has now become the first country in Europe to record more than 30,000 deaths linked to coronavirus. John Donnison has more. Now, some of England's urgent dental centres set up to offer emergency treatment during lockdown still don't have the right protective equipment to allow them to see patients.
That admission has come from the Health Minister, Joe Churchill, as patients say they're still struggling to get treatment and some have resorted to taking their own teeth out. Dan Johnson has this report. France will learn today whether its 8-week lockdown will be lifted on Monday. If government conditions have been met, many shops will reopen and people will be able to travel up to 100 kilometres from their homes.
The country is in the midst of its worst recession since the Second World War, with tourism, construction and manufacturing badly hit. Our Paris correspondent Lucy Williamson has more.
Time now is 12 minutes past 6. She was the wartime sweetheart whose song We'll Meet Again has become a message of hope during lockdown. Today, a new official portrait of Dame Vera Lynn has been unveiled to mark the 75th anniversary of VE Day.
I was looking for a picture, someone will tell me, of the big moon. Did you see it yesterday?
I didn't see it, but I'm told it was very beautiful, as it is this morning, a rather beautiful sunrise.
Yeah, we'll show you the picture. Absolutely lovely.
Stunning.
Absolutely lovely.
Just a couple of stories for you. Take us away from where we are at the moment. Apparently, Tom Cruise is planning on making a film actually on... We don't know when, we don't know how. That's the idea. Who knows?
There's the picture of the supermoon, in case you didn't see it, Charlie. There's a better. What are you having for breakfast these days? Have you changed your breakfast habits?
It's always porridge.
Even at home?
No, not always
not
at work. At work, it's porridge.
OK, so porridge, yeah, it's a good thing. That's always my breakfast when I'm working. But what people have been embracing in the UK is they've experienced a run on teapots and also on coffee grinders and coffee pots, double-digit growth.
Loose tea, presumably, because it just takes a bit more time and it just makes a bit more of a ceremony of the whole thing, which, you know, people have on their hand.
That's the thing. That is the thing. There's no supermoon this morning, obviously, but we can show you a rather vanilla.
Now, they're often called the greatest generation, the men and women who worked and fought to win the Second World War. Over the next few days on Breakfast, we'll be telling some of their stories.
Of course, tomorrow marks 75 years since VE Day, the day victory in Europe was secured. John Maguire has met a 97-year-old, Audrey Gerrans, who worked in munitions factories and married her sweetheart Joe, a soldier during the war.
Good morning. Here's a summary of today's main stories from BBC News. The UK's coronavirus lockdown will be looked at by the government today, with some restrictions likely to be eased from Monday.
You'll be aware that the Bank of England is going to release its thinking on where the economy is in around 15 minutes or so, just after 7 o'clock. You've made clear that a return to austerity is not what the UK needs, yet we have seen the government have to find money, have an almost bottomless pit in order to fund furloughing, companies that are going down, etc., etc. Where do you see...
Time now has just come out to 6:45. The message to stay at home may be getting changed by the government at the weekend, but is that leading you to think about planning your summer holiday here in the UK?
Well, if the lockdown rules allow it, it could be welcome news for the tourism industry, which has already taken a big hit. Adam McLean has been to Blackpool to see how businesses there are coping. And Mike, isn't it, over your years as a sports journalist, isn't it amazing how it's changed in terms of how open sports personalities and athletes are now about their personal experiences, particularly when it comes to mental health or any disorders, in order to help those who look up to them and just to show that they're not infallible? Mike, we'll see you soon. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Mike. 6:53 the time now. Most leisure businesses have, of course, stood empty since the lockdown began in March, but life continues to thrive behind the closed gates of the country's zoos.
Think penguin chicks, mongoose pups and cheetah cubs. They're among the creatures to have been born while we have all been not able to see them. Thankfully, though, their keepers have been doing some filming for us. Take a look. Do you know, every now and then this programme brings me pure joy. And that was it. I do love the job, don't get me wrong, but the lemurs, the baby lemurs, which were your favourites? Not of the lemurs, of all the animals.
But it all works.
There's got to be one you liked more.
The main thing is that all those zookeepers, the people who are working behind the scenes, are having to carry on doing their jobs. Unfortunately, filming little bits, so we still get to see it.
Which was your favourite animal?
I don't know which is my favourite. I'm not gonna pick one.
Oh, what, do you think they'll be offended?
Yes.
Are you playing favourites? Are you looking to Sarah to rescue you?
Yeah, go on, Sarah. What have we got?
Sarah, which was your favourite?
Oh,
I like the lemurs.
You like the lemurs? They were super cute. It's got to be the little kangaroo for me, the little Joey just peeking out.
Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Naga and Charlie State.
Our headlines today. Let's talk to our political correspondent Ian. Should we talk about the change to the government's message, the stay-at-home message? What about the message when it comes to testing, Ian? So we had a period of time where there was a focus on reaching 100,000. It was reached, 100,000 tests in a form, and then in the last few days that target